All right, welcome to Sport Tour on Enterprise TV, where we give you all the latest from what is happening in the world of sport. On today's menu, we'll be giving you the review of the matches that went down over the weekend. And of course, Tokyo 2024 has come to an end, where Team USA won this time around. And don't also forget, night of Ballon d'Or, where we'll be seeing Lamin, Yamal, Kanemi contesting with Ousmane Dembele. Player of the season of the UEFA Champions League 2024-2025 season. Don't also forget Rafinha is also in contenders. How about Mo Salah? Well, it's quite unfortunate. No Nigerian male footballers except Chiamaka and of course the head coach of the Super Falcons, talking about Justin Madugu. My name is John Olasukomi, and if you are joining us for the first time, please do it to follow us across all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. I beg your pardon. Joining me virtually today is Taiwo Ibrahim, making a return back to Sport Tour. Taiwo, welcome to Sport Tour.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be back here again.
Hello Taiwo, can you hear me? It seems his network is not completing. Of course, he will definitely join us on the show as we continue the show. You know how we do it. We always run it from local football. Charity begins. So we'll be starting with the CAF Champions League, where we have some representatives from these great nations. Talking about the NPFL teams. Rivers United was in action. Abia Warriors was in action. Remo Stars was in action. Demolished a Comoran side, talking about US Zilimadjou over the weekend. And of course, Kwara United was also in action. We'll be starting with local football. It was a tale of missed fortunes for Nigerian teams in the 2025-2026 CAF competitions on Sunday across the continent. And of course, the reigning Nigerian champions, talking about Remo Stars, showcased class in their encounter at the MK Abiola Sports Arena in Abeokuta, defeating US Zilimadjou 4 unreplied goals. What a good one coming from the side of Daniel Ogunmodede. Of course, Remo Stars, at first I thought it was going to be a difficult game, for Remo Stars. But take a look at what happened in Abeokuta. Playing away from home, they're also playing like on a neutral ground against a Comoran side. And of course, during our last show, we discussed about how consistent all these teams from Kenya, from Comoros, they mentioned them from Ghana as being. But can we say the same thing for team in the NPFL? Of course, Remo Stars made a statement by scoring 4-0 against US Zilimadjou. Let them just go for the second leg in Comoros and get the job done. Then you qualify for the next round. Taiwo, are you back with us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, Taiwo.
I can hear you.
All right, we're still talking about Remo Stars versus US Zilimadjou, 4-0 in favor of Remo Stars. The game was played in Abeokuta, and of course, all right, we have to go on a break right now. We'll join you back soon.
Hello.
All right, welcome back. Glad you are still there, still talking about Remo Stars versus US Zilimadjou. Taiwo, I was only talking about how grateful, how important that game was to Remo Stars against US Zilimadjou in Abeokuta. What are your thoughts? Remo Stars 4 goals to nothing against a Comoran side, talking about US Zilimadjou.
Oh yeah, good one for them, and it was important for them to start on a winning note. Of course, we know their past sojourn in the Champions League, where they've struggled to enter the mainstream competition. This time around, the first round of the qualification, they needed a win, and what a time to play. They are playing away from home in Abeokuta. Of course, it's still their home also, so they needed that statement victory against the Zilimadjou side, and they were able to get it. So you want to believe that the second leg is really going to be a formality, because I don't see them overturning that 4-0 results in the second leg. So
I just hope they won't go there and concede 6. I hope they won't go there and concede 6.
No, it's not happening.
Okay.
For like they may not win. They may not win because of a lot of factors. But I don't expect the Comoran side. In fact, the second leg is going to even be played in Abeokuta too. So they are still going to play away from home. So Remo Stars will still win the second leg too.
All right, away from Remo Stars, let's talk about the Lee Eagles versus Rivers United. What a good result for Finidi George side. They played a goalless draw away from home. That's a good one. They should just come to Nigeria and get the job done.
Yes, a good one for them. Any Nigerian team that goes on the continent and they're able to get a positive results is always a good one for them. But over time, some of them, they even come home and falter too. But for Rivers United, they've had a fairly good start to the season, and to be able to get a creditable results in the first leg, I expect them to be able to do the job at home. They are going to have their supporters in their full fledged supporting them. The government will also support them. So for example, now Enyimba governor was on the pitch yesterday to support them. I gave them money to encourage the players. So something like that is going to happen for Rivers United. So even without the governor's support or the finances from them, they should be able to get the job done at home. It's a good one for them. But this time around, I want Nigerian teams to be able to get into the main competition proper. Gone are those days where we get to competitions without breaking a sweat. This time around, to even see a Nigerian team in the main competition proper is so difficult. But I just hope we are going to break that jinx this year.
Let's just hope and pray they are going to break the genes. Talking about the CAF Combinations Cup, where we have the likes of Kwara United and of course Abia Warriors. Ashanti Kotoko, another notable name as far as football is concerned in Africa, defeated Kwara United. Do you see Kwara United turning that around in the second leg? Hello, Taiwo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
So for Kwara United, I wasn't expecting anything. I wasn't expecting them to lose that game, even though I have a very modest expectations.
Against a team like Ashanti Kotoko, Taiwo, you're not expecting them to lose. Playing away from home.
Of course, Ashanti Kotoko is one of the top teams in Africa. They've got history behind them. They're a very tough team. Nigerian teams go there and they lose most times. So it was a close game, but at the same time, I expected at least a draw from Kwara United, so that at least when they get home, they can get the job done. But the way they lost the first leg in that game, even coming home now, I'm not sure they are able to do something worldwide that will get them a place in the next.
But at least if you can score 3 goals away from home, you should be able to score 2, minimum of 2 in your own. On your own soil.
Yes, but if they should be able to score 2 or 3 at home, but sometimes football is not like that, and we know the way some of our teams falter when you least expect them to do so. So most times it's good to play the second leg at home, so that that even if you are chasing 2 or 3 goals from the first leg, you'll be able to get it. But when it comes to Kwara United, you cannot. I'm not really convinced about their chances of making it to the next leg. Especially it's going to be a very tough one for them.
All right, and of course, the last but not least, on the continental, we're talking about Abia Warriors. Abia Warriors used to be my team in the NPFL. Well, how can you play 1-0 draw against Joliba? Is it done and dusted for, Abia Warriors? Are they out already? Hello, Taiwo. Hello, Taiwo. Can you hear me? All right, I was just talking about, Abia Warriors played out a 1-0 draw against a Joliba team. Playing a 1-0 draw at home is going to be a difficult one for them. Playing away from home in the second leg. But let's see how it goes. All right, away from continental football, CAF and Confederations Cup, let's move straight to NPFL. Enyimba Football Club are now dancing slowly on top of the log table in the NPFL. I think this is their chance, to claim the NPFL for 2025-2026 this season. They've started very well on an high note, and of course they defeated Bendel Insurance 3-2. Tawo Ibrahim was talking something about Alex Oti was on this. Was in the stadium against Bendel Insurance. Gave them 10 million naira per goal. That's like 30 million naira just to motivate a big team like Enyimba. And of course, ever since Kanu Wanko, our own legend took over in charge of Enyimba as their chairman. Enyimba has been doing wonderfully well, and of course, we just hope they return back to continental football next season. Taiwo, what are your thoughts on Enyimba? It seems we lost Taiwo Ibrahim. Of course, maybe it is network or something. Let's take a look at other results. Kanemi Warriors won. Warri Wolves are nil. Shooting Stars defeated Queen Khalifa 2-1. Bayelsa United lost at home. Lost to Nasarawa United at home 1-2. And of course, Niger Tornadoes defeated Ikorodu City 4-2. Away from NPFL, of course, CAF Champions League and CAF Champions Cup. Let's move straight to the camp of the Super Eagles. I know a lot of Nigerians will be so happy.
I don't talk now, lose, I beg.
All right, don't talk about. All right, let's move straight to the camp of the Super Eagles. Nigerian international Ademola Lookman marked his long-awaited return to action for Atalanta with an impressive display as La Dia cruised to a commanding 3-0 win over Torino in their Serie A clash on Sunday. And of course, after their bashing against Paris Saint-Germain in the UEFA Champions League, all of a sudden, Ivan Juric called Ademola Lookman back to the team. They won that 3-0. He didn't really play part of the game. He started from the bench, played just 3 or 4 minutes in that game. And of course, that's a good one for Ademola Lookman, of course, to the Super Eagles of Nigeria, so that he won't be much rusty by the time we play in our next game next in the month of October. What are your thoughts? And of course, before you say something, Taiwo, Ivan Juric has come out to say Ademola Lookman is being surrounded by bad people. Do you agree with his coach? Or should I say bad advisor? Of course.
It's still the same thing. The problem with them is that I pity Ademola Lookman that wasn't able to get a move away from Atalanta, because it has been a major talking point since last season that he was going to leave. They had a gentleman agreement with the Atlanta board and chairman, and eventually they reneged on the agreement that they didn't want to sell him to teams in the Serie A. So they wanted to sell him outside Serie A. But both sides, I wouldn't blame Ademola Lookman. You can see what Isaac did. He had to go on strike to force a move to Liverpool. But because sometimes some of these clubs, you cannot be gentleman with them. You cannot be professional in that core with them, because you can look at what happened to him now. He was professional he decided to call them out. They didn't still grant him the move. At the end of the day, the move. Inter Milan came with 2 offers. They rejected it. They rejected it. No other teams came with a genuine offer. Now, for him to be able to get a bigger move like Inter Milan, it may not be possible at the end of the season. So they denied him a big move. They're still saying he's not being surrounded by bad. He's being surrounded by bad. It's a very bad statement to say, because he's a player. You guys are going to leave, and he wants to go and pursue his career somewhere else. So you should have allowed him. All this back and forth would not have happened. Now he has not been able to start the game this season. We are already in September, so they need to introduce him gradually into the team for him to be able to be fit. So I just pity Ademola Lookman, because Atalanta have nothing to lose. They have already got a replacement for him to be playing in his stead. So, but him, he needs to leave Atalanta. He's bigger than the club. So hopefully by next summer he will be able to get his dream move out of the club.
We just hope all the big guns, talking about teams in England, Spain, will definitely come for the reigning African Player of the Year, talking about Ademola Lookman. All right, Taiwo, before we leave the camp of the Super Eagles, let's talk about Iwobi. Iwobi was on target again for Fulham. Iwobi has been one of the best midfielders in the English Premier League so far. In fact, even as at last season, he was doing well, and of course, this is again, he started where he stopped from last season. What a beautiful goal and an assist. He also bagged the man of the match against Brentford. And of course, when it comes to the Super Eagles of Nigeria, we see another Iwobi entirely. What's really happening, Taiwo?
When I saw that game, I saw his goal, I saw the assist, and I was asking myself that, why is it? See, look at the way Iwobi was free-flowing in that game. What happened that this guy cannot? Though, to be fair on him, in the Super Eagles, is always not that consistent. I don't know, maybe because of the environment, maybe because of, I don't know. You can't really explain, because it's the same Iwobi that plays for Nigeria that plays for Fulham. And he goes to Fulham, he's one of their most important players in their team. He's one of the first name on the team list. So, but when it comes to Nigeria, you are wondering, is he an attacking midfielder? Is he a winger? Is he this? Is he a 10? You understand? You are not even sure what is happening. So I think for Iwobi, good one for him. Last season was one of the best players for Fulham. I think he had about 15, 16 total goal contributions last season.
And he also scored against Manchester United. Don't forget that. He also scored United.
So he was very impressive last season. This season has started well again also. It's a good one for him. But I just hope they are able to bring in this form to the Super Eagles, because we also need this consistency in the Super Eagles.
All right, and of course we can't compare, stadium, their own pitch over there. Maybe whenever he's playing for Fulham, his name is Alex, but when it comes to Nigeria, it turns to Iwobi. All right, Basi also shines for Fulham. Samuel Chukwueze was an unused substitute again for Fulham, and of course, Tolu Arokodare also fires a blank. Away from the camp of the Super Eagles, let's move straight to UEFA. Talking about Ballon d'Or 2025. Barcelona legend Ronaldinho, we call him Ronaldinho Gaucho, will reportedly give out the 2025 Ballon d'Or in Paris on Monday night to the 22nd of September 2025 as Ousmane Dembele and Lamin Yamal vie for football's most prestigious individual award. Dembele is being tipped as the favorite to win the Golden Ball after playing a key role in Paris Saint-Germain's historic treble success last season. Taiwo, let's talk about a Ballon d'Or. I'm of the opinion that since 2018, I feel that a Ballon d'Or has lost their credibility. They've lost, some people do not even know whether Ballon d'Or will definitely hold tonight. And ever since Modric over, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi over, Lewandowski, the Van Dijk issue, and of course the Vinicius Junior, and of course Rodri, a lot of people do not take more attention on the Ballon d'Or. Like tonight, most of Paris Saint-Germain players will definitely be playing against Olympique de Marseille. They won't attend, most of them. The reason why Dembele will also attend is because he's injured. He's not part of the team. Do you think, and of course, bringing Lamin Yamal to this conversation, for me, it's quite, disrespectful for me, in my own opinion. Why not just put, the likes of Rafinha to contend, maybe Vitinha to contend with, what is his name, Ousmane Dembele. What are your thoughts? Bringing Lamin Yamal to this conversation.
I personally, I do not rate these awards because I believe they are jamboree.
Come on, Taiwo, you can't say that. You can't say that. During Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi era, you will definitely rate it.
I believe some of these awards, they intentionally create controversy for it to be a talking point. Okay, last season, I wasn't expecting Rodri to win the award. We all know what Vinicius did.
Vinicius Junior did.
So it was an overwhelming favorite to win the award. They didn't give him. They gave it to Rodri, who didn't have a good year with Man City, but had a good year with Spain. And they gave it to him. So you mentioned the controversy in 2018. You mentioned the controversy when Messi snatched it away from Lewandowski.
And the like.
So, but this one if they don't want trouble,
Come on, don't talk
Dembele
about.
is overwhelming favorite for that award.
Mm.
Yamal being there is as a result of Barcelona's PR. Barcelona's ability to they are just pushing him because he wasn't even Barcelona's best player last season. Rafinha had more numbers than him overall. Rafinha had more numbers. So why are they not pushing Rafinha to win the Ballon d'Or? It's clear because they're trying to push a young star from the La Masia Academy coming to the team as a young player to win the award. Though he did well, with due credit to him, but he's not supposed to be the favorite for the award. Rafinha should even be ahead of him in terms of favoritism for the award. He should go in this stage. Should be Dembele, Rafinha, and Yamal. Fine, he can get a third place, but not the first place or the second place. But because Barcelona knew what they were doing, they pushed everything about him to the world, to the media, to ensure that he stand a chance to win the award. Look at what is happening again. He's going to be going there with 20 members of his family and friends. So that's another PR move for you to show that okay, this guy is like he's going to win it. But for the Ballon d'Or organizers, they have their face to they have to save their face because if Dembele does not win this award, then the award is a sham.
Come on. Come on, don't even talk about. Even Lamin Yamal didn't even win the best player. The best young players in the Champions League. Desiree Doué won that. In La Liga, he was not the best player. He was not the high goal scorer. So why bringing him in?
So what is he going to win? Dembele won everything. He won individual awards, won the man of the match in the Champions League, scored, assisted. Was PSG's top scorer, despite not being an out-and-out striker. Won the top scorer
award. Did treble.
In the league.
Come on, that's crazy.
Won treble. So what else does he have to do again to win the award?
All right, Taiwo, 6-7 years ago, we would have thought that Ousmane Dembele will be leading the race for Ballon d'Or ahead of Kylian Mbappe. Is there any problem with that?
Life can be funny. Even when he left, when Mbappe left for Real Madrid, he left for the purpose of winning the Champions League and winning the Ballon d'Or award. But immediately he left, Dembele took over the baton and led them to the Champions League, and now he's closer to winning the Ballon d'Or. So life can be funny. Mbappe did all he could do for PSG, was their top scorers all season, scoring for them, leading them to, but they dominated the French Ligue 1, and but they couldn't do it in the Champions League. And he couldn't win the top prize individually in world football. But this time around, it's Dembele's turn. You can't blame him because this guy came into the team, do what he's supposed to do, build the team around him, made him the most important player in that team, played him as a first nine and brought the best out of him. But Dembele became a player that was scoring. Dembele that we know was very wasteful before, started scoring goals, started bringing in assists, and now over 50 involvement in total involvement in goals last season. So it's a good offer. This guy coming to the team really changed his style, and then he was able to benefit the team to bring in goals. So if it's time, if he wins the Ballon d'Or, he's definitely a deserving winner for the award.
All right, let's see how it goes. Taiwo is so confident that, of course, this man Dembele should definitely take this one. Let's see how it goes in the next few hours. All right, away from Ballon d'Or 2025, let's move straight to the Premier League. We'll be starting with Arsenal versus Manchester City. Gabriel Martinelli's last game's equalizer gave Arsenal a 1-0 draw at home to Manchester City in the Premier League on Sunday, 24 September 2025, cancelling out the best striker in the world, Erling Haaland's early goal to give the Gunners a barely deserved point. Taiwo, for the 41st time, that Man City match, for me, it was an embarrassing game. For me, in fact, I was expecting an end-to-end game, but what did Pep Guardiola, what did he do? He packed balls all through, having just 33% possession against Arsenal. That's crazy. What are your thoughts? Do you think he has lost it or what?
What Pep did was to accept the fact that Arsenal are currently better than Manchester City.
But you don't have to respect. You don't have to respect Arteta. So he respected him so much. It's just too much.
No, you don't blame him. You don't blame him. They struggled last season. On that same ground, they lost 5-1 last season. And this Arsenal team is a little bit better than that previous team because they have gotten the likes of Madueke, there's Eze, there's Gyökeres and the like. So they were able to step up the team. So and Pep knows that his team is also still struggling. They are not the usual Man City that we used to know. And Arsenal are playing at home. So if he decides to go all out against them, they may take them into, may shred them into pieces. So he said, okay, come, they were able to get an early goal. Let's now sit back and see if we can, he trusts that Haaland will be clinical. If they had scored second or third goal yesterday, the game will have been over. Arsenal will not have a chance to come back into the game. But Arsenal were the better side, and they considered possession to Arsenal and defended as a team. If not for the fact that they had these defensive lapses in the last minute of the game, they would have won that game. I would have been saying Pep defeated Arteta again. And Donnarumma should have stayed in his line. He shouldn't have come outside for that because the defender was
for me, it would have been injustice if they had won that game yesterday, Taiwo. Come on. Because Arsenal really played from 0 minutes to 90.
You can say injustice, but 3 points is 3 points.
Yes, nobody cares how 3 points in the bag.
For them, Arsenal, they were a very good side that day. If they had lost that game, it would have been an injustice for Arsenal because they did everything they could do. Unfortunately, they were unable to get the goals required to win the game. 1 point is a fair result for both sides, but Man City will be riding their luck and thanking their stars for being able to get 1 point in that game.
All right, before we leave Arsenal Man City, let's talk about Gabriel Martinelli run on form in the last few weeks against Atletico Bilbao. He started from the bench, got a goal against City, got the equalizer. I think this is what score depth is all about. When you see somebody that is, a little better than you on the pitch, you have to come out and give your best. What can you say about Martinelli?
Martinelli knows that he has been enjoying a poor form in the past. Last season it was terrible, and Arsenal had to go bring in a player. So now that's what competition does for you. It makes players to be on their toes. You know that if you are not playing well, this Eze guy is ready to take your shirt permanently. There is Trossard. Madueke can play in his position too. So he knows that this time around. And criticism has been on him for Brazil, for Arsenal. He's not been living up to expectations. So he needed to show that, guy, you guys have forgotten the quality I have, but I will show you people. So he helped him by coming off the bench, less pressure. He's going to be playing against tired legs, and he showed his importance to the team. If you start him in the next game, he may not do as much as he did in the last 2 games. So Arteta has probably found another joker on the bench that can win him games off the bench. So I believe it's a good one for him. People seem to have forgotten his quality. He had a bad season last season, and the previous season he struggled. But 3 seasons ago, he was one of Arsenal's best players when he had double figures of goals. So this time around, sometimes they say form is permanent and class is permanent and form is temporary. That was what he showed against Bilbao and Manchester City. All
right, and of course we can't forget that fantastic through ball, talking about that fine pass from Eberechi Eze. Let's take a look at other results. Bournemouth 0, Newcastle United 0. Sunderland played a 1-0 draw against Aston Villa. Finally, Aston Villa end their good draws. Liverpool 2, Everton 1. And Taiwo, we have 1 minute to talk about Liverpool versus Everton. Liverpool were leading 2-1, and when the official, raised up the additional time, we saw 3 minutes. And we've been seeing a lot of people, even David Moyes came out to say if it were to be Liverpool, it would have been more than that. Do you agree?
Well, Liverpool have been enjoying some sort of form, luck this season. And it will get to the time, they will run out of luck and they'll be duly punished. Because in that second half, they struggled to contain Everton. Everton could have snatched a point in that game. Most of their games this season, they start well and they don't end well. So they seem to take their foot off the gas in the closing moment of the game. So if you meet a quality team, they'll punish you for that. But good credit to them. They won their first 5 games of the season. Most of the games they had to come back. They had to lose their lead and snatch a win late in the games. But it will not happen every time. There will be time that they'll be caught out and they'll be able to win their game. But for the 3 minutes that Moyes was complaining about, sometimes I used to say that when it comes to bad officiating or questionable officiating, it will go around. Everybody will enjoy.
Yes, so but it will touch everybody, of course.
Will enjoy that against you. So Moyes just take it as a loss and move on to the next game.
All right, Brighton 2, Tottenham 2, West Ham lost to Crystal Palace 1-2, Wolverhampton Wanderers lost at home to Leeds, Manchester United is where we are going, defeated Chelsea. Struggling, Manchester United defeated Chelsea 2-1. Before that game, we all gave it to Chelsea Football Club. Now, Taiwo, I want you to talk as a fan now, not like a lot as an analyst. Who should be blamed? Goalkeeper, Maresca, or the whole team?
All of them.
Come on, don't talk about.
Especially Sanchez. You know, he had no business cutting out Bumo in that position. The game is just 5 minutes. There's no business. You don't have business going out of your line. Your defenders are already on him. Fine. Even though if he had raced through the defenders, if he had scored, the game will still have 85 minutes or 95 minutes to play to score. And Manchester United are currently struggling. Chelsea, I'm not sure Chelsea will go 90 minutes without scoring against Manchester United, with the current form that they have, even though they are playing at home. So why take such a bad decision to cost your team the result? Because single-handedly cost that team that result that day. I wasn't expecting Chelsea to be that blunt in attack and everything. But because if you had not collected that red card, Maresca wouldn't have brought out those players that he brought out. Because he was going to be conservative.
Because a lot of people blamed him for that substitution.
Yes, no, the substitutions were bad. The only one, okay, he said initially that Palmer was in favor. Why not take out Palmer and then bring in a goalkeeper? And then you balance the team. But Maresca himself, inexperienced, got to play in that game because he was jittery. He had not scored. The score was still goalless. Why did he have to take such decision as early in the game? He took out two creative players in that game. Those that were going to give you support, attack, and the likes. He took them out. So how do you want the team to win? João Pedro alone cannot do anything. To make matters worse, Palmer went out in the 21st minute.
That's the fear of Old Trafford. You know they've not won there since 2013. You know Chelsea have not won there since 2013.
How will you be scared against a dead team as Manchester United? You'll be scared against them. People that cannot even score 1 or 2 goals. So, you know, I will blame first Sanchez and then Maresca. Because other players, I wouldn't blame them. Maresca was supposed to have corrected that mistake that Sanchez made by bringing the right players. At the end of the day, he didn't bring on Garnacho. Look at what happened towards the end of the game. Manchester United got their own red card too. So the game was 10-10. But at the end of the day, Chelsea had no firepower to stop Manchester United. So I believe they will learn their lesson. But it's a terrible loss to take from Manchester because you should not be losing against a dead team as Manchester United.
I don't know how Chelsea will bounce back. Of course, they've lost back-to-back. They lost in the Champions League to Bayern Munich, now to struggling Manchester United. And of course, let's give kudos to the man called Bruno Fernandes. Got his 100th goal for Manchester United against Chelsea Football Club. Fulham 3, Brentford 1. Burnley played a 1-0 draw against Nottingham Forest. Away from Premier League, let's move straight to La Liga. Ferran Torres scored twice as Barcelona cruised to a comfortable 3-0 victory over Getafe on Sunday, with Dani Olmo adding the 3rd goal and assist in another impressive display by Hansi Flick's side. Who is going to stop Barcelona, Taiwo? Is it Chelsea?
Only Barcelona can stop themselves if they self-destruct. But I see Real Madrid also this season. I like the way Real Madrid have started the season, and they've also cut out their defensive issues that they had last season. So this season it promises to be an interesting race in the La Liga. I expect them to go to battle Barcelona for that title up until the end of the season. I'm not sure Real Madrid will be struggling as they did last season. They have a new coach with a new idea, new identity, and it's showing already in the team. Mbappe is the new king at the Santiago Bernabeu. So everything seems to be working together for them. They're winning their games, winning the Champions League. They're conceding less, which makes it interesting. So when we see the El Clasico in October, we are going to be sure of having 2 teams that are ready to battle the title to each other. So the La Liga fans are going to be treated to entertaining football, and then for us that are neutral fans also want to see the best of La Liga. And Barcelona, in fact, that they are winning without Yamal. It's a good one for them. They won their last 3 games without him. So it's a good one for them.
And they scored well. They scored 6, 2, 3, like 11 goals in 3 games.
They're also scoring goals. They're also scoring goals in their numbers. So I expect them to be able to get the job done.
All right, kudos to Xabi Alonso, 5 out of 5 in the La Liga this season. They are on top of the log table with 15 points. And of course, leading Barcelona by 2 points. Let's take a look at other results. Real Betis defeated Real Sociedad 3-1. Girona lost at home to Levante 0-4. Real Madrid 2, Espanyol 0. Villarreal they came back from behind to beat Osasuna 2-1. Alaves 1, Sevilla. Of course, Sanchez was on target for Sevilla. Valencia defeated Atletico Bilbao 2-0. Rayo Vallecano played a 1-0 draw against Celta Vigo. Mallorca played a 1-0 draw against Atletico de Madrid. Oh, come on. Diego Simeone. It's all good. Elche defeated Real Oviedo 1-0, and of course, Barcelona played a 3-0 against Getafe. Away from La Liga, let's move straight to Italy. Italian Serie A, we'll be talking about Inter Milan, followed up on a positive start in the Champions League by beating Sassuolo 2-1 on Sunday to put their Serie A season back on track. Juventus also dropped points after scoring 4 goals against Dortmund, scoring 4 goals against Inter Milan. And of course, I pity all the bookies out there over the weekend. Juventus played out a 1-0 draw against Verona. Taiwo, what are your thoughts on Juventus dropping the points?
I wasn't expecting them to drop a point in that game, but Serie A sometimes is not predictable. For me, they did well in the Champions League, scoring 4 goals. Also against Inter Milan, they also did well. But consistency is the major problem that they have, and having done well against those other 2 teams, I expected them to have taken it to another level in their last game, but they couldn't win. But there's still other games for them to win. But the Serie A this season, I want to see what's going to happen. Inter Milan have not been convincing, and Napoli, maybe because they are the champions, they are also trying to get the job done. But it's going to be very open like last season also. Maybe probably go down to the wire.
All right, let's see how it goes. Lecce lost to Cagliari 1-2, Bologna 2, Genoa 1. Verona played 1-0 draw against Juventus. Udinese lost to AC Milan 0-3. Lazio lost to Roma 0-1. Torino lost to Ademola Lookman Atalanta 0-3. Cremonese played a goalless draw against Parma. Fiorentina lost to Como 1-2. I think Fabregas is doing wonderfully well with Como. Taiwo, where do you see Fabregas next season? Talking about Czech Fabregas, with what he's doing with Como presently.
He has started well. I like the way he has started. He's a young coach with a young team, and he has shown that sometimes it has to do with what you have upstairs, not about your age, when it comes to doing well in football. And he has done well. And he was supposed to join Inter Milan this season, but I think he had a good thought about it that, well, Inter Milan is a whole team that needs transition. He wouldn't join them. But next season, I believe he's going to join a bigger team, probably in Spain, or maybe even in the Serie A. But for what he has done last season and what he's going to do this season, I expect him to be able to go to a bigger club next season because he has got the quality, proving by what he has done so far with Como.
Of course, I expect Arteta to do more, at least win the EPL this season, or else you should watch his back. Fabregas is coming. Inter Milan defeated Sassuolo 2-1. Away from foreign football, let's move straight to Tokyo. We'll be talking about the World Athletic Championship. We're talking about Tokyo 2025. Took place from 13 September to 24 September 2025 at the Japan National Stadium. It was the milestone 20th World Athletic Championship since track and field first ever World Championships were held in Helsinki in 1983. Over 2,000 athletes from 200 teams competed in 49 events with 147 medals on offer. Let's take a look at the table. USA are the champions, 16 gold, 5 silver, 5 bronze, 26 in total. Kenya, that's what I'm going, Taiwo. Kenya, 7 gold, 2 silver, 2 bronze, 11 in total. Canada, 3 gold medal, 1 silver, 1 bronze, 5 in total. Netherlands, 2 gold, 2 silver, 2 bronze, 6 in total. Botswana, bag 2 gold, no silver, 1 bronze, 3 in total. And of course, Nigeria, we know our position, 27 is 0 gold, 1 silver, all thanks to Toby Amushon in down, and of course, 0 bronze. Taiwo, the question is, when it comes to football, we know Brazil, we know Spain, we know Argentina, mentioned that we know France. When it comes to a tournament like this, as of today, we will talk about Botswana, we'll talk about Kenya, we'll talk about Algeria, we'll talk about USA. Talking about Nigeria, what are we known for? That's the question. Taiwo.
Well, corruption is also a sport. We are known for corruption.
Come on, don't talk about it. Come on, I wasn't expecting that. But it's okay, it's all good.
But in fairness, we've done bad. But, every country has their own strength. That's why I tell people. The Kenyans, the Ethiopians, we know their strength. So they don't even stress themselves. They don't invest so much on football and they know it's not their strength. So they invest in athletics that they know that is their strength. So they know that when they go to competitions like that, they can guarantee you 5 gold medals. So they invest everything they have into it. But we, because of our population now, we know we've got talented sports people, but we cannot say athletics is not our strength. It's just that bad administration and the lack of foresight has been a major problem for us. This morning I was speaking with the AFN president. I sent him some questions for interview because I was wondering, when I was doing my research, I saw that we've won only 3 medals in the last 4 editions of the World Athletics Championship.
God, that's bad. That's bad.
Athletes. We got star athletes. If not for Toby Amuson that had a good tournament, we would not have won anything in that competition. We'll have just went there with the old generation and come back with nothing. So, that's because I just believe that we need to do better administrative. It's not as if we don't have talent in Nigeria, especially. We have got grassroots programs. We have got talented. Even most of our athletes are Tokumbo, but it doesn't matter. They are still representing Nigeria.
Tokumbo or not Tokumbo. But let them get us something. Take a look at Botswana. That is another typical example. Where was Botswana 16, 20 years ago? Now take a look at what Tebogo is doing right now. He's just there, competing with the likes of Nice and Co. With Thompson, mention them.
It's not magic. It's not magic. All these countries that have won medals, if you go and look at their preparations, look at the policy they've set up, you know that they prepare for these medals 3 to 5 years ago, or some even more. So we cannot say you want to win medal and you want to begin to want things in maybe 2, 3 weeks or 4 weeks to the competition and say you want to win medal. You did not prepare the athletes from the. Look at the likes of Ofili. That left Nigeria for other, because they know that it doesn't look like we are serious. It's just as if we want to just be collecting money from the government and traveling all around to competitions without the intention of planning properly, putting the right people in the right place, and then also ensuring you motivate the athletes for them to be able to win medals. So if they go and come, okay, even this competition that they went for, some of the athletes were still complaining. You see Toby Amuso complaining about welfare. You see others complaining about.
Wait, Taiwo. I hope the other kids arrive safely.
No, all of